Hello and welcome to Extra Madness here on Ion Radio. I'm Ken, and we'll be going through the action here on Table 3 in the first round. This matchup is between Miek P and myself, Ken K. Let's take a look at both of the fleets and then get right into the action. Coming in at 300 points is Miek P's Bail Organa fleet. Bail is on an Acclimator 1 assault ship with flight controllers, boosted comms, expanded hangar bay, and the Navuta B title. There's a Pelta-class medical frigate with projection experts and parts resupply, along with a consular armed cruiser carrying external racks. For squadrons, we have Anakin Skywalker in his Delta 7, Ahsoka Tano, and 4 BTLB Y-Wings. Ken's list is an Admiral Trench list, also coming in at 300 points. Trench is on a munificent star frigate with Rune Hakau, battle droid reserves, thermal shields, and linked turbolaser towers. There's a second munificent, although this is a comms frigate, with auxiliary shield team, expanded hangar bay, point defense ion cannons, linked turbolaser towers, and the Tater Progress 12 title. For squadrons, DIS T-81 leads the charge along with flak prototypes and 4 Hyena droid bomber squadrons.
Hello and welcome to Madness Round 3. This game is Miek P versus Ken K. That's right, I have a little bit of skin in the game. Let's take a look at the board. Both fleets are at 300 points. The roll-off was won by Miek. He elected to go first player, choosing Fighter Ambush. Miek's forces are on the left-hand side of the screen here. Miek has his Acclimator 1 with Bail Organa on it, the Pelta, and the Consular Armed Cruiser with external racks. Bail has 3 nav tokens and 2 engineering tokens. Lining up is Ahsoka, Anakin, and 4 BTLB Y-Wing squadrons. On the opposing side, Admiral Trench is on the Munificent Star frigate, furthest from the action, and the closer Munificent class comms frigate is the Tater Progress 12. Over here are the collection of 4 Hyena droid bombers and the flak prototypes, along with DIS T-81. As usual, all of the obstacles have been placed on the board by the Armada robot. Ships have been deployed using Ed's Armada robot, and the first set of dials have all been set in a similar manner. Let's get to turn 1. With most ships activated, all that remains is the Acclimator. Trench's fleet is moving in close formation, each ship banking tokens for future rounds. On the Republic side, the Pelta has pushed engineering tokens to all ships in the fleet. The Consulars increased to speed 3, moving around the debris field and preparing for an attack on the closest Munificent. The final ship to activate in turn 1 is the Acclimator, and it opens with a squadron dial. Anakin is the first squadron to be moved and attacks the closest Hyena bomber. With the inclusion of flight controllers, Anakin fires and hits with 4, destroying the closest Hyena bomber. Anakin then uses his splash ability to take 1 damage and place it on the other Hyena. At the conclusion of her movement, Anakin is able to make his 2 dice attack, scoring 2 hits on the Hyena bomber. Ahsoka is then able to quickly dispose of this squadron. You should not be here. Yeah, I know you want to play Armada, but you can't. At the conclusion of turn 1, squadrons have started their engagement. The flak prototypes are now engaged with Anakin Skywalker. Y-Wing bombers are headed towards the Munificents, and the Hyenas are hanging back, waiting for Republic ships to arrive. No ships are in range, and we move into turn 2. Turn 2, Admiral Trench decides to show a concentrate fire dial for round 2. The Munificent Comms frigate activates, showing a squadron. Using it as the dial, it's able to activate all 4 squadrons. It starts with a Hyena bomber and attacks the front of the C-70. As it is in range, it fires. 2 hits are scored and the forward shield is dropped. The second Hyena bomber moves into position, also firing into the forward arc of the C-70. It scores 1 hit that is redirected to the port side. The flak effect prototypes are already engaged with Anakin Skywalker and unleash their first salvo. Being able to successfully block the scatter, 2 hits are scored. Anakin braces this down to 1. Anakin's counter scores 1 on the flak effect prototypes. DIS T-81 fires into Anakin, scoring 3 hits. This is promptly scattered away, and the counter returns with 1 hit, also scattered. The Munificent fires from its side into the front of the C-70. 3 hits are scored at long range. C-70 tosses its evade token, reducing that to 1. As it's just a hit, it takes it into the hull. Out the front, the Munificent fires at Anakin Skywalker at long range. Leveraging linked turbolaser towers, 2 blue dice are added to this attack. Although 3 hits are scored, Anakin tosses his scatter, taking no damage. Bail's Acclimator activates, showing a squadron dial. With 4 squadrons to activate, it begins with Ahsoka Tano. She moves to engage both tri-fighters. Anakin then is able to attack the flak effect prototypes. 2 damage is scored on this initial shot, scattered away by the droid tri-fighters. Ahsoka makes her shot. Ahsoka is able to block the scatter, scoring 2 hits. This is braced down to 1. With a counter of 2, Ahsoka braces it to 1, finishing her attack. As her activation is over, and she is within range 1 of the flak effect prototypes, she suffers an additional damage. Anakin is the next fighter to activate, again targeting the flak effect prototypes. 3 hits, including an accuracy, blocking the scatter, is sufficient to destroy the dry fighter. The counter, on the other hand, comes back at 2. This is braced, removing all of Anakin's tokens. The final 2 squadrons that are activated are the 2 Y-Wings. The first one moves in, scoring a hit crit. This is braced down to 1 on the side shield. The second Y-Wing comes in, scoring no damage. The Acclimator fires into the front of the Munificent. 3 hits are scored, which are redirected into the side, and then a salvo. After an LTT reroll, salvo scores 1 hit on the Acclimator's forward shield. After movement, Anakin is placed to the right-hand side of the Acclimator, and DIS T-81 is now engaged with the 2 Y-Wings. Admiral Trench's flagship activates. Showing in engineering, it takes a token and then makes its first shot at long range into the front of the shield of the Acclimator. Spending out the Confire token, it's able to leverage the Trench dial. 4 total hits are rolled on 3 dice. These are subsequently braced to 2, both hits being redirected to the starboard side. The second shot is from the side into the front, obstructed. 2 dice are rolled, scoring 2 hits. These are both taken on the forward shield. The 2 remaining Y-Wings attack DIS T-81. The first attack blocks the scatter and scores 1 hit, counter of 1. The second attack is scattered away, forcing the tri-fighter to discard his scatter. A counter of 2 is returned, ending round 2. The first activation of turn 3 is the C-70. It shows a concentrate fire and takes it as a dial, and spends one of Bail's nav tokens to gain a navigate dial as well. A close range shot is made from the front to the side of the Munificent. External racks is spent, scoring a total of 4 damage and 1 accuracy. And the 4 damage is braced to 2 and redirected to the rear. The Munificent Comms Frigate activates next, showing a concentrate fire dial. It spends its squadron token, leveraging Admiral Trench's ability, allowing it to activate 5 squadrons. As there are only 3 CIS squadrons remaining, all 3 are capable of being activated. The first Hyena Bomber Squadron enters the front arc of the C-70. The shot, including the AI battery, scores 3 hits. The consular ship redirects us to the port side and has to take 1 internal damage. The second Hyena Bomber Squadron also attacks the front, rolling a crit. The consular ship decides to redirect that to its remaining side shield, avoiding any additional internal damage. The Munificent fires at close range into the front of the Acclamator. Along with the concentrate fire dial, 5 hits and an accuracy are rolled up. The Acclamator's brace is blocked. The redirect is then used along with the salvo. There are now no shields on the front or sides of the Acclamator. Prior to the salvo shot, the crit is shown, structural damage. 3 total hits now on the Acclamator. The single hit from the salvo is scored on the forward shield of the Munificent. The Munificent fires out the side, rolling the accuracy and double needed to destroy C-70. With firing done, it moves forward, ramming into the Acclamator 1. The Acclamator activates next, showing a nav dial. It uses one of Bail Organa's engineering tokens, as well as its own, to repair shields. It moves 2 shields from the rear to the side and adds 2 new ones to the front. The first shots are at close range into the front of the Munificent. The assault does 4 total damage. All of this is redirected into the port side of the Munificent, dropping both the side and forward shields. The salvo takes down the forward shield of the Acclamator. Increasing to speed 3, the Acclamator slides past the Munificent, staying in the side arc of both enemy ships. Landing on an asteroid, the Acclamator turns up a depowered armament critical, eliminating its ability to fire at long range. Trench activates, showing a concentrate fire dial. His first shot is at medium range from his side to the rear of the Acclamator. Between link turbo laser towers and the extra die from the confire dial, 2 accuracies block the redirect and the salvo, forcing 1 hit to go through. The Acclamator has now 6 hits on its hull. The Star Frigate's forward shots at squadrons misses almost every single shot, scoring only 1 damage on one of the Y-wings closest to it. Trench's Munificent lands on an asteroid field, rupturing its engine. The Pelta gets an opportunity to activate. Taking an engineering dial, the Pelta uses parts resupply to send an engineering token to the Acclamator. It uses projection experts to send 2 shields to the rear of the Acclamator. It then recovers 1 of its own. The Pelta fires at long range into the damaged Munificent. Rolling an accuracy and a crit, it blocks the salvo and decides to not use the critical effect, scoring 1 damage on the Munificent. Moving into the squadron phase, a Y-wing attacks DIS T-81, scoring the necessary hit to destroy it. The counter only does 1 damage back. Ahsoka fires into the front of the Munificent, scoring a hit and adding a victory token to the board for the Republic. The 3 Y-wings take out a side shield and score 2 more hits onto the Munificent. Anakin moves forward, attempting to engage the remaining bombers. Unfortunately, he is just out of engagement range.
turn 4, dials are set, and Admiral Trench reveals an engineering dial. The acclimator activates first, showing a squadron dial. It then uses Bail Organa's ability, gaining a navigate and engineering dial. Using the dial and token, the acclimator is able to repair the depowered armament and 1 face-down damage card. Anakin is the first squadron activated. Moving to engage the 2 Hyena bombers, he destroys the first one handily, causing splash damage to score 1 of the remaining 2 hits on the other bomber. Ahsoka moves forward, allowing Anakin to fire at the Hyena. This bomber, though, is very evasive, and Ahsoka comes in to take the final shots, destroying it. The closest Y-wing bomber to the Munificent, its bombing run successfully destroying the enemy ship. The acclimator fires its rear cannons into the side of the Munificent, scoring 2 hits which are promptly redirected to the rear. A salvo occurs, returning the favor of 2 damage. This 2 damage is braced to 1 and redirected to the left side. Bail reduces speed to 2 in an attempt to stay on the board. Trench's Munificent activates, revealing a concentrate fire dial. Rune Hakao is immediately used to gain a concentrate fire token. Spending the engineering token that it already has and using Trench's ability, 6 points are gained. Firing at long range to the side of the acclimator, 3 hits are scored, 1 of which is a crit. Critical hit is flipped, and it is a compartment fire. The acclimator is now on 6 of 7 hits. Trencher's shot against the front of the Pelta amounts to only shield damage. The Pelta reveals an engineering dial. Taking it as a token for future use, it fires a double arc shot into the side of the Munificent. The end effect is a reduced side shield and 1 critical coming in, blinding all gunners. The salvo is returned, doing 1 hit to the forward shield of the Pelta. The ships ram, and we move into the squadron phase. Squadrons reposition for turn 5. Turn 5 begins with the acclimator revealing an engineering dial. Taking it as the dial, Bail uses his final navigation token to gain a nav dial for the acclimator. With no shots, the acclimator increases to speed 3 and is able to stay on the board. Admiral Trench's Munificent activates next. Showing a concentrate fire dial, Trench utilizes Rune Hakao to gain an engineering token. Combined with battle droid reserves, blinded gunners is flipped face down and removed for both engineering points. Trench fires out the side at the Pelta's front. Using the concentrate fire dial, he scores 4 hits, 1 of which is a crit. Pelta quickly goes through every single one of its defense tokens, re-rolling the crit into a blank, reducing the 3 damage to 2 and redirecting it to the left side. Flacking out on the opposite side, linked turbo laser towers are used to focus fire on 1 Y-wing, destroying it. The final ship to activate is the Pelta. Showing an engineering command, it repairs the damage and reorients shields prior to making a speed 1 hard turn. During the squadron phase, Y-wings are predominantly shifted around for turn 6. Anakin is out of range and also moves to hopefully be overlapped in the next round. The Pelta is the first ship to activate, showing a squadron dial. Parts resupply is used, and the Pelta regains 1 shield in the rear. Activating 2 squadrons, both Y-wings are moved to the starboard side of the Munificent. After firing, each scores a hit. However, all fire is redirected at the cost of this defense token to the forward shield. A close-range side shot, it is obstructed, is fired into the rear of the Munificent, scoring 1 hit, removing the final shield. Trench activates, repairing some shields with the engineering dial that is revealed. He flaks out the front, targeting Ahsoka first. Using Link Turbo Laser Towers, extra dice are rolled, and with the scatter blocked, Ahsoka takes 1 damage. After moving, one Y-Wing is displaced, the Munificent now within long range of the Acclamator. Not being able to do any damage, the Acclamator moves forward at speed 3. The final shots are fired, although only 2 points of damage are scored amongst the 3 firing squadrons. This is enough to reduce the shields, but not gain an additional victory point.
The final score for Miek P, 171 plus 3 victory tokens for a grand total of 216 points. I, on the other hand, have destroyed only 51 points of ships, coming very close to taking out that Acclamator. Adding the 15 points with a single game token, I have a combined total of only 66. This results in an 8-3 win for Miek and Bail Organa with a margin of victory of 150. Moving to the tournament scoreboard, Miek P has now taken the top position, while I am sitting, for the moment, in last. There are still 5 matches to play in this first round, and only the bottom 4 players get eliminated at the end.
Until next time, I'm Ken, and stay tuned for the next matchup on Extra Madness here on Ion Radio.